Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Bearded Respect. I'm Bruce City Scott, and this is
Mike.
And we've
And
got
Jason.
And we will be right back after this intro video. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bearded Respect. Episode number 47.
Yep, creeping up on that first year.
Well, Jason, you think you can handle welcoming all these fine people in here?
Yep. First one I have is our guest. He's waiting in the green room.
How you doing?
And we got Travis, Miss Bruce City.
Oh, hello, madam.
Hey, Travis.
Hey, honey.
Hey, Becky.
There's Mike. There's Michael ready to go. And that's us. Now this one here was me, everybody. I forgot when I type a comment during the stream, I'm the Bearded Respect too. I got to go on my phone if you want to know it's me. But yeah, I got a new system, no glitchy, everything working smooth, doing great.
Hell yeah!
There's Tim, Guns and Beards. Hey, there's Casey. Hey, Casey.
Yeah!
I see you popping in. MC, that's
Hello,
Mrs.
neighbor.
Guns and Beards.
How you doing?
Hey, there's the man, Chris, A True North.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
February's
Chris?
coming. February, March is coming.
So is April.
Is
May.
it March, spring?
Yeah, he's saying winter 2023, so it better be February. Hey, Rock.
Hey,
Hey, Ricky, nice to see you, Ricky. In case. Oh. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Thank you, sir.
Damn near my neighbor. So I don't need to ask him how his weather is because I know what it is. Hey, Russ. Good to see you.
Hey, Ross.
What's up, Russ?
There he is, Jay Cruz. Hey,
Jay
buddy.
Cruz.
Hey, Jay.
Hello there.
And we got Ellie. Hey, Ellie.
Hey, Ellie.
Ellie, what's up?
Oh, hello, madam.
My shift focus. Good to see you. Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Beard's coming in great. Got his eared in now.
Hey.
Chris. Chris President,
Chris.
What's up, Chris?
Dan B,
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Richard Crush. Hey, Richard.
What's up, Richard?
How you doing?
Vic. Good to see you,
Hey,
Vic.
Vic.
Got that wedding coming up soon. It'll be here before you know it.
I like the sound of that.
Let's okay. Jumped that gun. Beers, Bushy, Chris, True Work, Vic. Okay, Vic, we'll do. We'll do. I'll DM you after the show. And we're caught up. Everybody's here. Got a hello.
Woohoo.
We get Fitz.
Oh, nope, I missed him.
Oh.
How did I miss
How you
you?
doing, Fitz?
What's up, OG Fitzroy? Thanks for stopping in.
Hello there.
Yeah, so sorry about that. I'm trying to be quicker here, guys. That's all. And I skipped somebody. Sorry about that. Now I think we're all caught up.
So we got a special
All right.
guest tonight, right?
Yes, we sure do.
Yeah.
Very well, let's bring him in and we'll talk about why he's so special.
Glad somebody thinks I'm special.
Yeah. Hey, Joel.
Hey guys, thanks for letting me come hang out.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. So in the chat, I don't know if you can notice, depending on your screen size, but over Joel's right shoulder, he's got a bunch of awards and stuff like that, the Guinness World Records. How many of those do you have?
I got 11 right now because there's some in the mail,
Okay.
but yeah, I think there's 12. I actually can never remember, but I think I've broken 12 records. I keep breaking my own records, which confuses me. One of my friends broke one of my records, and I haven't broke it back yet. So I don't know if I can't count that one right now. So otherwise, I don't know. I'm around 12.
Wow.
Now, when you do that, does an official from the Guinness need to be there? How
No,
does that work?
they just make it really, really hard if the official's not there. So when you see videos on YouTube where you got, Michael Emprick, he's one of the well-known Guinness judges. He's in all the Dude Perfect videos and stuff. If you get him or one of his cohorts to come to you to oversee your record, it's quite expensive, but it's super cool. It's really nice, and you get the certification immediately. I've only broken one record with him, and that was on the Kelly and Ryan show. But anybody can break a record if they make it so you really, really have to want it. Basically, making it official is in most cases tougher than actually breaking the record. They require there's rules for every record that have to be followed. And there's quite a few rules, actually. Each record has its own rules. And then they have very strict rules for putting your evidence in. There's different videos from different angles, no break in the video. You can appoint your own witnesses. They have to be unrelated to you, and they have a lot of paperwork they have to fill out. They got to watch the whole thing. They got to attest to everything. Tons of pictures. There's just all kinds of stuff, but you turn it all in, which even that's kind of tough. And then you wait for months while they review everything. And then you'll either get an email that says it's official, or you'll get an email that says paragraph 12, subsection B, sentence 2, you didn't follow. So it's not official, basically. So that's the downside if you don't hire somebody, but it is free if you're just really patient and really meticulous. So I've got it down to a system now.
How did this all
and
start for you? Like when did this start? How did it start? Like
or
So
why?
my first record was summer of 2018. That was the most toothpicks in a beard.
okay.
I make videos on YouTube, and I am my YouTube channel is hard to describe because I don't have a shtick, like a set thing. I just make videos about whatever I'm interested in at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, unofficial Ken. So my channel's all over the place, and I wanted to grow a beard back in 2017. So last time I shaved was January 1st, 2017. And then by like Christmas time of 2017, my beard was, a year length or something, whatever it was at. And then I saw this record for most toothpicks in a beard. I'd actually already knew about it a long time ago, but I started thinking about it again. And I'm like, I'll just try it. I'll make a YouTube video where I try to break that record and see what happens. And lo and behold, I broke the record on my first attempt. Not to say it's easy, but I realized I have a knack for it. Like, you have to do things just right to make stuff stick in your beard. If you just put them in willy-nilly, they're just going to fall out in clumps. And once I realized, like, hey, I'm kind of good at this. And I was like, okay, so I unofficially broke that record. Well, I got to make it official. So from Christmas time until July, that's how long it took me to figure out how to make a world record. And I was working hard on it. I was like doing my research, sending in the applications, all that stuff. But so July of 2018, I officially broke I broke it, but it wasn't even made official till months after that. Right. So it was like at the end of 2018. And then the Guinness crew, for the 2020 Guinness World Record book, they contacted me and they were like, they contacted me in early 2019 and said, we want you in the 2020 Guinness World Record book. And they sent a crew out to my house from England and they did a whole photo shoot. It was awesome. It was totally fun. And they did the shoot with all the toothpicks in my beard. And while they were there, the guy, he's like the head of their visual design. He's pretty high up at Guinness World Records. And he actually came to my house, which is kind of neat. But he said, so what's your next record? And I'm like, huh? He's like, yeah, what are you going to do next? I'm like, you could do this again? He's like, yeah. So I had never even thought about breaking another record title until then. So the next one was Straws. And then after that, I was like, what else is there? So it just kind of took off. But, once you find out that you can be the best in the world at something, at least for a time, I don't doubt that people can break my records. I don't doubt that there's people that are better in the world at it than me, but I hold the titles,
Right.
And once you get that feeling of, hey, I'm the best in the world at something. It's like, well, what else can I do? So I just kind of expanded and it's still going. Like, I haven't got bored of it yet. My wife wishes I would get bored of it, but so far I haven't. And
How
that's
many
all
different things have you had a record for? Like how many different, like there's toothpicks, there's pencils.
Because I can never remember them all. But okay, so there's toothpicks, straws, golf tees, chopsticks, beard ornaments, and that one I just rebroke less than a week ago. Forks, paper straws, which is a separate category than plastic straws, and due to the turtles that stick them up their nose, the Guinness people have actually discontinued the regular straw records, and no one can ever take that one from me.
Oh wow!
Forever
years.
Thanks to those turtles, I'm like in for forever. Okay, and then clothespins, pencils, and then I have some in a minute records. Most pencils in a minute, most chopsticks in a minute.
Okay.
Toothpicks in a minute. What am I missing? But one of my buddies broke the toothpick record, so he holds it now. But I don't know, I'm missing something. But that's there. You have a mostly idea of all this different crap I've got records now. I put a lot of other things in my beard too that there is no record for.
Right.
If you look on my Instagram or my YouTube channel, you'll see you'll see too much stuff in my beard. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw your one episode where on YouTube with the paintbrushes and you made a painting out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That was a
sold
lot
the
of fun.
painting for billions of dollars, right?
Yeah. Well, no, but I did have, and I still kind of have this this fundraiser going for these kids. They lost their mom, and somebody did contact me and say, "How can I get my hands on that, on one of those paintings you made in that video?" I said, "Just make a donation to the fundraiser," and they made a nice donation, and I shipped it to them. So
Yeah,
that's where that ended up. At least
Oh,
the
cool.
best of the ones I made, I sent to that guy.
That's
So,
cool.
it's pretty cool.
That's
Wow.
really cool.
So True North, Chris, he wants to know where you're from, Joel.
True North, I live in the Boise area of Idaho, in the Treasure Valley in Idaho. That's where I'm from. That's where I live. Yep. If you just, the one thing Boise's known for is Boise State University's blue turf. They're also known for having the best college football team around. Now, I know that hasn't been true in the recent years. And you can debate me all you want, but they are the best college football team. So the science is settled, as they say. But I've had the pleasure of attending quite a few games at that stadium lately. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, for me, it's hard to get used to the blue.
I know everybody else doesn't like it, but you know,
When you're used to watching the other games.
yeah, I know, I get it. And it, full disclosure, if I didn't live here, if I wasn't an alum of Boise State, if I didn't grow up loving Boise State football, then I probably would think it was not cool. But fortunately for me, I have all the right information, so I know it's cool.
Right.
Well, no, I think it's cool. It's just it's a little hard to get used to.
Yeah,
I can't remember the reason for the blue turf. There's actually a reason for it, though, right? Do you know?
So they wanted to do something different. They wanted to stand apart. They had only been in Division I for like a decade, I think, or I might have my dates wrong. Someone's going to correct me, but they hadn't been in Division I long. And the athletic director was like, "How can we do something different? How can we stand out?" And the athletic director came up with it, and it was the first football team to have a field that was anything other than green. And there have been a few that have done colored fields since then.
Right.
And the rumor that ducks and geese like to land on the field because they think it's water and then they like get hurt. That's not exactly true, except in one case. Every time the Oregon Ducks come to the blue, they get hurt bad. We beat them multiple times there. So, yeah. So there you go. But
there you go. Yeah, I had a chance to visit there. We have some family in Boise. We went out there 6 years ago, and we kind of snuck out onto the field. There was
nice.
it was in the summer, and I think they were doing like a tour for students and stuff like that. So we kind of joined them and then broke away to go out the doors to the field for a couple of minutes and kind of take a look at it.
That is okay. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'd kind of forgotten or wasn't thinking of it, but I snuck onto the blue field less than a week ago.
No.
I don't know if I should admit this so soon. Is this too soon to admit? But the Mountain West Conference Championship game was held in Boise last Saturday. I'm not going to talk about that game. I was there and it was fun, but that's all I want to say about the game. But the day before, I was working on a YouTube video and I wanted a shot where I was on the blue turf. And you can make an appointment and everything, but I hadn't done that. Who's going to call it? And plus, it was the day before the Mountain West Championship game. So I showed up and I walked into there's like a Hall of Fame, they call it, right in the stadium with all the trophies and everything else and all the memorabilia. And I walk in and they're setting up for the conference or the conference championship game. There's press people. They're setting up a press conference. There's equipment and cameras everywhere. And I walk in the door and I see they've got it all barricaded off. Like you can't go in unless you're part of the thing. Well, I was holding a camera and a microphone for my YouTube thing. And as soon as I walk in, a kid comes walking up to me and I'm thinking, oh crap, he's going to kick me out. But because of the beard and the respect that you get when you have a beard, and the automatic respect, plus the camera and the microphone, he just assumes I'm part of the production going on.
Right.
He comes right up to me and he starts asking me questions about the microphone setup that he's doing, and he's asking me questions if he has the right curtain set up and everything. And I realize what's going on, and I just start playing along, and I'm like, yeah, the curtain looks good. You might want to check the microphones, do a sound test or whatever. And then I just like went through and I went out the doors and out onto the field, and there were like people from Fox there, like setting up cameras and setting up the camera on the cables and everything.
Yeah.
It was like kind of going in between them, and I set up my camera and I make my shot. If you look at, I think it's the latest video on my YouTube channel. It's called All About My Weenus.
Yes, weenus. Yeah.
But if you go watch it, you'll see the shot in there where I'm on the blue turf, and then you'll know the backstory is that I was like hoping I didn't get busted while I'm doing it.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I made my wife sit with me and watch the weenus YouTube video.
Nice. It's educational.
It is. It is.
I'm here to educate. That's what I do.
For anyone in the chat room, if you have questions about your weenus, we have an expert here, Joel.
I made a whole video on the subject. Check it out.
Yeah.
You'll walk away a better man. So, question for you, Mike. I see the Wyoming flag. Do you live in Wyoming right now?
I do. I live in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
In Cheyenne. Okay.
Yeah.
I spent a couple years in Wyoming. Loved it. It was a little colder than I liked, but I got used to it. By the time I was there a few years, it didn't seem that cold anymore. I lived on the other side of the state in Green River for about 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I definitely prefer the western side of Wyoming or the northern side. But
oh yeah, up in Sheridan, Buffalo.
Yeah, Sheridan's
Nice.
beautiful. Yeah. I've only lived here for a year and a half now. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
But my job moved me out here. So
That's why I spent 3.5, 4 years in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Mark, I think you spelled it right, or you can spell it US. I'm not sure. I think that both are acceptable. Nice. And I got one other question for you, Mike.
yeah,
Assuming the OIF at the beginning of your name stands for Operation Iraqi Freedom.
it does. Yeah.
So veteran,
Yeah. Yeah. I was a veteran of OIF. Yeah.
any of you others, Scott, Jason?
Desert Storm.
Scott is.
Scott's Desert
I'm,
Storm
I'm,
veteran.
I'm not.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I didn't have the honor.
Okay, well, that's fine. So, Scott, did you also serve in Iraq? Oh, yeah, you said Desert Storm.
Yeah.
Okay. I was there in 2005, pretty much the whole year. When were you guys there?
90 through 93.
Okay.
And I was there 2003 to 2004. So the
Okay,
initial.
so I got there right after you left.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, I spent most of my time up north in Kirkuk. That was
That's where I was.
Oh, were you out of the 25th out of Hawaii, I think?
No, that's who replaced us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we replaced them.
Okay.
So, all right.
So
And then
did you stay at Fob McHenry?
no, but I've been there
okay.
a handful of times. I went out there all the time, but I was
We
normally.
built. Yeah,
I
my
was a
unit
Cloud
built
Warrior.
Fob McHenry.
Oh, you built it?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ken, you were
At least
in Iraq?
half of those sandbags were from me.
Yeah. I no disrespect, but I didn't enjoy my time at Fob McHenry. But yeah, I didn't stay there very much. I was mostly a Fob Warrior in Kirkuk. And
Okay.
then I did convoys all over the place. I've driven all over that country. So yeah.
Were you Army, Air Force?
Army. I was an
Army?
MP in the Army, but
MP?
I didn't
Okay.
do normal. I didn't do the normal MP stuff. I did normally convoy security and moving prisoners and I moved prisoners around and I moved VIPs around. That was the main thing I did there.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we'll have to have a chat about this sometime.
Yeah, totally.
Change some stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Ken was in the Navy, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't know if he answered
Nice.
that or not, but
Awesome, Ken.
yeah.
Well, I'll wish everybody a month late Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day.
Yeah, same to you, man. Same to you.
Thanks. Same to you.
What kind of, other than breaking records, like, do you have a day job or?
Yeah. If breaking records paid, that would be really cool. No money in it, kid. So any of you aspiring record breakers, go for it, but don't expect any compensation for it. I get some cool trips out of it sometimes. That's cool. But no, I think the reason I do the beard thing, this wasn't planned, but I got to do something fun and a little zany or whatever, because my day job's super boring. I work in insurance, and like, that's all I got to say, and people just go to sleep. Like, oh, you work in insurance? Like, okay, next topic. It's not at all.
Good for you though, man. It's a living.
Yep.
So I noticed all the Pepsi stuff in the background. Any world records with Pepsi yet?
No world records with Pepsi. I have how do I do this? This is my little Pepsi museum I got going on behind me. I got all kinds of old Pepsi stuff and new Pepsi stuff too. But I just love Pepsi. It's my beverage of choice. And so the collection, I've been putting it together for a long time. But yeah, in this house, I have this office where I can like make my little museum. Another, when you work, this is where I work also. I work at home. So when you work in insurance, you got to surround yourself by things that make you happy. So that's
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Man, I've only seen some of them, but I love all these comments about everybody who served. There's got to be a thing, and I don't know if anybody's ever like done a study or something, but there's got to be a thing where when you're in the military and you're forced to shave daily, and then not only that, I went to a private university before I went to Boise State, and I had to shave every day there too. And then so you just combine all that together. And then as soon as you have the freedom to grow your beard, you're just like, I'm not going back. I'm not turning back now. So
that's right. Freedom beard.
Yep.
Freedom beard. Yep. Absolutely.
And Mrs. Brew City, my significant other fiance, so she's a Pepsi fan too.
Nice. She's got good taste. She does.
Well, I have Coke in this.
Ooh, and it's a Cowboys mug too. I don't hate the Cowboys. I like them. I've been to games at the stadium, but hey, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody, there's room for growth in all of us. So not just in the beards, but in our beverage choice. So yeah.
So I think we had a question from Mark, right? Oh, favorite award.
Yeah.
Oh.
Favorite world record. I think the one that looks the best to me is the chopsticks, because when I broke the chopsticks record, it is 520. Someone needs to challenge me on that one because I kind of want to break it again, but I don't want to do it if I don't have to. It's just so big. It's this massive just pile of sticks. It's just so big on my face that I just like the way it looks. And it's not one of the most painful ones. That's got to come into play if I'm picking a favorite too. The ones I least favorite are the clothespins and the beard ornaments, because they have springs involved in the little like clamp or whatever. And when I'm trying to get them out, a hair gets in that spring and it's lights out for that hair, So it's, I don't really like those ones, but yeah, I gotta say chopsticks is my answer to that. Thanks for asking that, Mark.
Is that the one you did on the Kelly and Ryan show?
That was pencils.
Okay.
And I did it on Kelly and Ryan, and then more recently I did it on an Italian TV show. And both times when both of those shows contacted me and they wanted me to do the pencils, I tried to talk them into doing something else, because the pencils one is super tough. And you wouldn't think it'd be that different from chopsticks, but it is. And Jay's beard is my bud. Anyway, I tried to talk both of them out of doing pencils, and I couldn't. They both were stuck on that idea. When I went on live with Kelly and Ryan, I was like, look, the bar is super high. That was one that was pretty competitive between me and a fellow out of New Zealand, and we've both held that record. And for me to beat his last mark was not easy. Dude set the bar super high. So I barely beat his record. And then Kelly and Ryan said, we want you to come on for our record breaker week and break your own record. And I'm like, I'll go on there, and there's a good chance I'm going to fail. And I'm going to be on national TV, and it's going to be live. And I'm going to get close to breaking the record, and then they're all just going to fall out, you know? And they were like, we don't care. Just do it anyway. If you fail, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, it doesn't matter to you, but I don't want to. So anyway, I went on there. I was so nervous. I was like people tell me when they watch the video of me on Kelly and Ryan that I don't look nervous, but that's acting. My heart was pounding. And I knew that it was super, like that one almost more than anyone is, you got to be so careful. You mess up the smallest thing and a whole chunk is just gone and you're done for. And in practice, that's happened to me many times where I'm getting close and close to the record and then I push it and then, you know, so I don't know how I did it, but I managed, even with the pressure of like the studio lights and the live, like I knew that millions of people are watching because that's a super popular show and people are watching me live. And I managed to break my own record, and it was the coolest feeling. Like I had broken about 8 or 9 records before that, but there was no feeling like breaking the record live and having that Michael, the Guinness, the well-known Guinness guy there to present me the certificate right then, and standing up and celebrating. It was so cool. Like I have really fond memories of that Kelly and Ryan show. And then I could mention more recently, the Italian TV show. It's like America's Got Talent. It's just like the Italian version. So I don't know why I was on it because I'm not Italian. But
Did you go to Italy for it?
Yeah, it was in Rome. And,
wow.
Which is, like I said, I've gotten a few cool trips out of this. Not any cool money, but cool trips.
Yeah.
Like I've been to New York, been to LA a couple times, and Rome. All those trips were paid for because
nice.
Whatever studio or whatever compensated my travel and lodging and all that, which is so cool.
Yeah.
And so I'm talking to the producers on that show. It's called To CK Valis, but they wanted me to do the pencils thing, and I'm like, I wanted to do the paintbrush thing that you mentioned a minute ago. I wanted to fill my beard with paintbrushes and make a painting. I thought that would look cool. And they were like, if you make it through the first round and you come back, that would be a good time to do the paintbrushes. But we totally want you to do the pencil, which in hindsight was a good idea because it played really well. And the judges were super impressed by it. And the audience was fairly impressed. The audience is kind of split on it because they get to vote. That's one thing that makes it different. Yeah. But the judges, all 4 judges gave me a yes, which shocked me. You know, when you watch America's Got Talent, you have those acts that go on and they're just silly and they're like there to just be comic relief and they all give them X. Bang, bang, bang. I thought that's why I was going on the I really did. Like, I thought this will look funny, haha, they'll poke fun at me, and I get a trip to Rome out of it. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the judges, so they have 4 judges, and then they have a 5th judge who only tabulates the audience vote. And then they have 3 conductors at the side. They're kind of like the MCs or whatever. Well, all 4 judges enthusiastically gave me a yes, which shocked me. All 3 conductors were cheering for me. The audience was like split though. They were like 51% no and 49% yes, something like that. But anyway, it was the coolest experience getting to go to Italy to do that. And that was the day that my wife said, okay, I'm going to stop complaining about your beard now. Cause she got, you know, and she's been on all these beard trips with me. So she hasn't exactly stuck to that. She hasn't, She said she would stop complaining, and she has toned it down a little bit. She doesn't hate my beard. She just wants it to look like this, you know.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, let's see. I see a question on your bushy beard. Bushy beard. I've not been to nationals, and it was in Wyoming. What, a month ago?
Yeah, yeah.
Mike,
We were there.
you were both there. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I would have gone.
Bushy Beard and I were part of the world record beard chain.
I've seen those videos. I didn't know you were in it, but I should have gone. I could have tied up my beard.
Exactly. That's how mine was for about an hour.
Yeah.
We stood there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
They said mine wasn't long enough to do it.
Yeah, it had to be what, 8 inches, right?
Yeah.
8 inches.
8 inches. There's one thing I know, 8 inches. There's a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to what's really 8 inches. So.
Yeah, they were measuring them.
Oh,
Yeah.
No flag on that one. Okay. So,
Yes, the
the
previous record was like 62 feet, and so we set it at 160, I think, 150.
Yeah, I think you doubled it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
tripled
More
it.
than doubled.
Yeah, yeah.
See, how cool would it have been to be a part of that? Like, that would be, I've broken some world records, but that would be one. I've never done a participation record before. How cool would that be? So, yeah, hats off to you guys for being part of that.
We will get there, Guns.
Here's another question, which is a good question.
All right, so when attempting to break a record, is the size of the beard taken into consideration? If someone with a larger beard, which obviously can hold more of the same. Okay, so I like this question because my beard is not the biggest beard. It ends right there. Okay, so and I've also found the camera adds 30 pounds to my beard. Like, even in person, it doesn't look as good in person as it does in person. I don't know why, but it's like a facade, or a little bit maybe when it's on screen. But some of the records, more length and volume will make a big difference, but some of them it actually makes it harder. When I broke the toothpick record, I guess I've only broken that one once, but my beard was only this long. But more length wouldn't have helped. In fact, I've done toothpicks with more length, and it's a little bit tougher. But that's not the case for all of them. Those ones that involve springs I was talking about, the worst ones of all, that rip your friggin' beard out, more length would actually really help with those ones. But I was going somewhere with that. I can't remember where I was going. Oh, yeah. So I don't know if you're familiar with Jeff Langham, the bearded lion, Langham lion. If you Google Jeff Langham, what a majestic and glorious beard. Dude's beard grows with as much intensity from the chops area as the lower chin. Like, it's just as long here. So he has this huge lion's mane for a beard. And it's you're awestruck when you see this guy's beard. My beard looks like bum scruff compared to his beard, you know? But he held the toothpicks record before I did, and I was able to break that record from him with a much smaller beard because it's about the technique. That's what it really comes down to, is how you're cramming stuff in your beard, and if you're being intentional about the architecture of it. I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but you're building something. You have to create a foundation, and then you have to build it up from there, and you have to build something that can hold weight with a lot of the records. And once you've created that and built it, then you can blow it from. Oh yeah, there he is. So you can see his picture on the upper right. That was his record. But then you look at the other pictures of him. And dude, what I wouldn't give to have a beard like that.
Yeah, and you can tell all the toothpicks are up high. Like, he has all the beard below it.
Mm-hmm.
So it probably doesn't hold him very well, you know,
Yeah. So for my technique, and I'm not saying mine's the best, I'm sure someone can come with a better technique, but the beards are woven. And so, did I say the toothpicks are woven together like a nest, you know, and you can see in his technique, they're all just placed in. His beard is thick enough and curly enough and voluminous enough that he could get away with just sticking them straight in. But if I did that, there's no way I could compete with him. But I came up with a technique that worked better, at least for me, and it can just grow. After I build it, then I build on it. And yeah, curly beards, like, so for the pencils and beard and records like that, I didn't brush or comb or anything my beard before that. You know, I wanted it tangly and curly.
Yeah.
But for the ornaments, I'm brushing it and combing it, and like I need all the hairs as separate as can be. So it's just different techniques for different mediums of stuff that go in the beard. So there you go.
Is there a record for pens?
No, there's not.
So maybe I could start one with government.
Do it. You'll hold the world record unofficially, and
There you go. On video.
Yeah, you got evidence right there.
And it has to be a government pen too. So
the old, yeah. I've stuck so much stuff in my beard that's not a record, and I have talked the Guinness people into creating some record titles that didn't exist before, but they've also turned down a bunch of them. They wouldn't do spaghetti, and my spaghetti beard was huge. It was awesome, but they said it can be seen as wasting food, and it's not trendy to waste food. But I'm like, I'll feed it to some pigs after, whatever. And they're like, nah, no go. So, you know, they don't accept every record I've suggested. So bushy beard, for beard products allowed, the rules all state that you cannot have anything adhesive or tacky or anything like that. So that doesn't mean that you couldn't put in beard oil if you wanted to, but you have to prove that you've got nothing adhesive or tacky in your beard when you do the records. Yeah,
and beard oil might even be a disadvantage, right?
It would on some of them for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't want to lubricate something that's trying to hold stuff in.
Yeah.
Right.
But on the topic of beard products, I mean, obviously, just like everybody else, I started my beard without any products. Probably most people start a beard, and then at some point they start realizing it's going to be better for them if they start putting some oil or balm or whatever.
Yeah.
And I abuse my beard it's what I do. So I don't spend a ton of time trying to make it look nice. I wish I did. I wish I worked on my mustache more. I wish I trimmed more, but I can't do both. I can't have a nice looking beard and then also just be abusing it all the time. So I just do my best to like treat it nice, put some nice oil, put some nice butter, some nice balm, and use nice wash and all of that stuff to throw it a bone, since I'm going to be always like just being mean to it all the time.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
I love that idea, Mark. Pine tar under the brim of the hat.
Yeah, there you go.
And some of the records I've broken, I have had a hat on. And the only cheating I've ever done with a hat may or may not have been in middle school, writing answers on the bill of the hat when I'm taking tests. I haven't thought about the pine tar. Like, that's funny.
So what's next? Like what are your some thoughts of doing next?
In a couple of weeks, I'm doing a school assembly. I've done them virtually before during the COVID era, but this will be the first one I've done in person. A buddy of mine who I served with in Iraq, he's a school teacher here in Boise. And he told me like a week ago that his school sent out an email to all the faculty and said, okay, we got this assembly coming up and we want to talk about these qualities. And anyway, does anybody know anybody famous? And he writes back and says he knows a guy who's broken a dozen world records. And told me about it, he said that all of the principal and all the staff got super excited about it. And when he told me, I'm like, dude, they asked for somebody famous, not this, this dude that can crap in his beard. He's like, don't worry, people think you're totally famous. so I'm gonna go talk about, like, one of the things I love is the concept of having a growth mindset. It's pretty much changed my life because I think that when you go through life, the path of least resistance is the fixed mindset, thinking like, okay, I'm good at this stuff and these are my strengths, but I'm not good at these things and I can't be good at these things. So I'm just going to hang out over here in my strengths. And when I found out that you can do anything you want, if you believe you can do it, first of all, dedicate yourself to it and practice, you can do it. It can be done. Even a schlub like me, I wish I had it with me, but over there is a Guinness World Record book from like 1985. And it's one that I checked out from the library when I was in elementary school. And I was like, I'm going to be in the world record book someday. And I'm sure if I said that, everybody was just like, yeah, whatever. But it kind of stayed in my mind. And then I figured out a way, right? It took me 30 plus years. I don't know how many. It took me a lot of years to figure out that, yeah, I really can. I can be in that book. And I've been in it 4 years in a row now. So I love talking about the difference that a growth mindset makes. And it kind of has a nice carryover because you have kind of a beard growth mindset, but you can also just have a regular growth mindset.
Oh, yeah.
There's one guy who's kind of like a record-breaking mentor for me. His name is David Rush. And if you look up David Rush, he has broken over 200 Guinness World Records on a broad range of things. He has, I think last year he broke a record every single week of the year. And so he wrote a book about how growth mindsets can improve your life. And I loved it. It's had an impact on me is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
But I've had the pleasure of meeting with him and breaking or being a witness, an official witness for some of his records. And we're planning to break there's a few records that we can break together, like most in a minute records for stuff in a beard for two people. So we're working on that right now. So that's another thing I got in the works per your earlier
Awesome.
question. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Another thing, you showed a picture of me with a bunch of Q-tips in my beard at the very beginning of this.
Mm-hmm.
That was not an official record title until recently. So in that picture, that wasn't a world record, but it's going to be soon. So I got that coming up. I'm going to break that record. I'm going to demolish that record.
I think I saw a picture of fireworks in your beard too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, the Guinness people aren't going to sign off on that for being a title. But, yeah,
Did you light them all at once?
what?
He had a lighter in the picture.
Yeah, that was a gimmick. There,
I would hope so.
I can't remember how many bottle rockets that was, like 800 maybe.
Oh my gosh.
If you watch the YouTube video, I have fun with the whole gimmick of lighting them, but it's on my channel. You can look it up or something if you want, but I think I did pretty fun, or I made it pretty fun with acting like I was lighting the but I didn't want to burn my face off, so I did not.
So something like with the chopsticks, like how long does that take to get to that record that you set? Like how long did it take for you to put them in?
The chopsticks takes about an hour and a half.
Mhm.
I think the toothpicks actually took the longest. It was like 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow.
Because there's just so many of them. There's 3,500, and you have to put them in one at a time. That's one of the rules. So it just takes time. The ornaments one that I just broke my own record on recently, that took a long time because it takes almost as long to get them out as it does to put them in. With many of the ones I've done, my favorite thing to do, and the Italians loved this, by the way, when I was on the Italian show. but I fill up my beard with the thing, whatever it is, and then I just shake my face like crazy, and it flies everywhere, in every direction. And I like the crowd went wild. The judges, everybody just loved that on that show. But you can't do that with the ornaments. If you do that, you're just going to lose your beard.
Yeah.
It takes
Yeah.
forever.
Mark says to do paper clips.
That is a really good one, and it's on my list. That is one that I haven't done yet, but I did talk the Guinness people into creating a title for it. So the title is there. It hasn't been filled yet. And what they do with a new title like that one is they set an arbitrary minimum. And they set the arbitrary minimum really high on that one, higher than they usually do. And I'm going to break that record eventually. It's in the middle burner, I would say right now. Not clear at the back, but I will eventually break that one, but it's going to take a while. So the record for most bobby pins in a beard, it's similar to that one. And you may recall when I was listing off all the records I hold, I never said bobby pins. But you did put the picture up at the very start of this episode of me with Dean Banowitz. And we, this was about 1.5 years ago. Dean and I did a joint. We did a joint attempt at most bobby pins in a beard for a fundraiser, and it was awesome. And you may not have heard of Dean Banowitz, maybe you have. He's kind of a big deal in Hollywood. He's the guy who does the hair of pretty much every TV shows you watch. He's done, you name the Hollywood person, he does their hair or has done their hair. And he had a giant beard. And this is actually really sweet. Dean and I both, and I don't know how this happened. The odds of this happening are pretty small. But Dean and I both have a friend who passed away from cancer, same kind of cancer, or a very similar type of cancer at the same time. And both of these friends left behind a husband and 2 young kids. And Dean approached me because he wanted to do a charity event. And he told me about his friend who had just passed away, and she left behind her husband and her kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, these sounds like you're talking about my friend. It's like the same story, same age of the people involved. So we got together and we did a fundraiser. We started the record attempt at like 7 a.m. and we put bobby pins in our beard all day into the night. Like we didn't stop. And a bobby pin isn't quick to put in because you got to be a little meticulous, and pretty soon your fingers get raw. And Dean had a couple advantages. He knows his way around a bobby pin because he's a professional hairstylist. But he also had a much bigger beard than me. And but the funny thing was, and I love this, both of us were really competitive. It came out early on while we're talking that both of us have run a marathon before. And as soon as he said that, I'm like, oh crap, he's ran a marathon before. I'm like, this is gonna go all day. But it was good. It's like we had this live stream going all day long, and people were logging in and they were donating money to these 4 kids. And we raised a bunch of money that day. And I think we ended up stopping around 11:30 at night. And both of us could have put more bobby pins in our beards still. But at a certain point, I was like, okay, Dean, when I get to 4,000, I'm stopping. And so he was at like 4,800 at that point.
Wow.
So who knows? He would have won either way because he was ahead of me. He was putting him in quicker than I was. And he had more place to put him. But who knows if we really had gone till we couldn't anymore, how far we would have gone. But that was such a cool day. That was so much fun. Dean was such a riot. I love that guy. So fun stuff.
That's pretty amazing. Just thinking about, 3,000 toothpicks, 4,000 bobby pins. Like, wow.
Yeah.
It was nuts. You got to be a little bit crazy to do something like this. Like, I'm missing a few screws or marbles or whatever you call it. I know. But
No, it took you all day to put them in. How long did it take to get them out?
The bobby pins are another one that you can't just shake out.
Yeah.
And Dean had some friends there. I mean, we had all these people to be witnesses. The Guinness people have a rule that a witness can only be a witness for like 3 hours or something, and then you got to swap them out. So we had all these people, and I was so exhausted, and so was Dean, that at the end of the attempt, we both just laid down, and there's no rule that says you have to be the person to take them out after the attempt is over. So they were, my wife and Dean's friends were like trying to be as careful as they could. I mean, I lost a lot of beard, but and then you talk about the time it took to count all 4,800 for Dean and all 4,000 for me was another couple of hours. Like we were up till like 2 a.m. I think by the time we finished that. And then poor Dean, all the paperwork he had to, there was one silver lining to Dean winning that record and not me. And it was that he had to be the one to submit the mountains of evidence and paperwork and video. It took him almost a full year before it was official that he had the record because of just all the work it takes to submit all of that evidence. The longer the attempt goes, it just exponentially grows the headache of making it official. So, yeah. But Dean, I'm going to say right now, no one's ever going to break that record. I mean, I'm not trying to throw out a challenge or whatever, but Dean will hold that record in forever, whatever, because that was quite the undertaking, and he is a bobby pin professional, and it took him 12 hours or whatever. So yeah,
just to do it for that long. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you didn't know how many you had in there until you took them out?
The boxes, like each box of bobby pins said something like,
okay, so you had an idea.
So yeah, keeping track of how many boxes were done, but that's another part of the evidence procedure that Guinness has that they're very particular about is the counting process, you know? Yeah. So that's all got to be recorded and everything too. When I knew that I had not won the record, I could be a lot more lackadaisical about removing them, but Dean's removal process was even more painful because they all had to be counted as they came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
So if the toothpick, like, did you count them out like before you put it in?
The toothpicks was the only record I've ever broken where the Guinness people allowed this as a rule, and I wish they would do this on more of them. But the judges were allowed to pre-count all of the toothpicks in advance.
Okay.
And then just once I put that amount in, they checked my lap and the ground and the table and everything and make sure that there are none anywhere else. So that was how they verified the number that were in there. So then I just shook my face and toothpicks flew everywhere all over. I was at a Cabela's and the toothpicks were everywhere. They were displays. There was like this whole display, this awesome like African display of like taxidermy and everything. There's still toothpicks in that. There's no way they're not. That's my preference is if the Guinness people would allow it, but that's the only record they've allowed that on. All the rest, they have to count them as they come out.
I see.
Wow. So how many chopsticks was it?
520.
Hey, you got it quicker than me. 520.
That's a lot of chopsticks.
Yeah. You know that I have been thinking it would be cool with something like chopsticks to get like Panda Express to partner with me. Like I could bring nobody. I've reached out to companies. Nobody cares. Like they're just like, no. Panda Express, I can't get them to respond to me. The Diamond Toothpick Company, no. The Q-Tip people for this upcoming record, they did respond, and they're just like, that's really neat. We're going to send you some coupons in the mail for free toothpick or free Q-tips. I'm like, but you want to do something? Like we could do a thing, and they're like crickets, you know. So,
well, you think they could do a commercial or something?
Who wouldn't want to see that commercial? I made my own Q-tip commercial with my buddies, thinking that I could get their attention that way. And they're like, "Hey, yeah, we got some coupons coming. Watch out for them."
With the toothpicks, are they the round toothpicks or like
the regular round ones, the double-sided ones? Yeah, there's there's all the rules about the length and the diameter and stuff, but it's just the standard toothpick is what falls into that category. Yep.
So one thing I'll recommend that you stay away from. I mean, you already pushed the limits with the fireworks, but don't do the matches either.
Oh,
It's just too scary.
people suggest that. And I'm like, no, especially a strike anywhere match. You see
Right.
your whole face is way up in flames. I'm not going there. Yeah.
You do a Michael Jackson incident.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the Pepsi commercial where you
Yeah.
get off. Poor guy.
See,
Hey,
we even worked Pepsi into the show.
There you go. I live just down the street from Emo now. He's just one town over from me. So shout out to you.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yep.
He's the international vice president of my Bearded Rebellion Beard Club.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, and there's a few other items, by the way, that I found you shouldn't put in a beard. I almost put this thing in my beard like a couple weeks ago. It's like a toy. What's up, Emo? Oh yeah, Emo and I both speak French too. That's a little fun side note.
I kind of figured that.
How's it going, my brother? But it's this little thing that's full of wax or something. And so first I don't know how to describe it. It's like a waxy pipe cleaner sort of, and my niece was playing with them and she's making little sculptures with them. And when I saw them, I'm like, oh, I wonder how many of those I can fit in my beard. Because that's the way my brain works. But then my sister-in-law is like, stop. She's like, my daughter got one in her hair one time. It took all day to get it out. We had to cut her hair. Do not put that in your beard. So she saved me. So yeah. And Russ, I'm not a rebellion member or a villains member. I'm not a member of anything. They won't have me. I'm too I don't know what.
I'm sure the rebellion would have you.
Maybe find a place in the fold for Joel. Yeah.
We have a bunch of eccentric types.
There you go. Maybe I'd fit in after all. Well, we're getting to the top of the hour where I'm going to have to cut out.
We are.
Yeah, that's fine.
If there's any last minute questions or anything, I can hang on for maybe just a couple more minutes. Otherwise, I'll cut out of here and bid you a fondue.
No, and check out his YouTube page. I think is it under Joel Nert or?
Yeah, Joel Nert, JOELNERT. That'll get you. That's my YouTube, Instagram.
What is the Nert?
Oh, it's one of those like when you make a name and it only means something to you. Okay. And then you don't think that later someone's going to ask you what it means, basically. You're like, well, I'm in so far now. But my brother and I and close friends when I was a teenager, nerd was a word that we would say to each other as an insult. Like, okay, kind of like nerd. That's what we would say. Like if somebody did something dumb, we would say it to him like that. Okay. And so it's just a word that only means something to me and a handful of people, but that's why it is. But, Russ, you got it. Just like that. That's the YouTube, Instagram. I even have a Twitter account, but I don't do much on there. But yeah. So there you go. But guys, thanks for having me. It's good getting to know you guys better. I appreciate you come on here and talk silly beard stuff with you.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's very, very educational too, talking about how the way of going about getting those records and everything like that. And
I've mentored a few people. I've helped people break records just because the process is so painful to make a record official. So yeah, it can be done. It like I said, it's harder than breaking the record. Making it official, that's the hard part, but it can be done.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks, Joel.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you. I will. Yeah, I'll. Anybody want to ask me more questions? Just send me a message on Instagram or something. I'll answer a question. So, you guys have an awesome night.
You too.
Thank you too.
You too.
Thanks.
Thanks. Yep.
We'll see you.
Right.
Well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so. On that note, probably ought to do our giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not quite leaving yet, just yet. OG Roy.
Yeah, at least stick around for the giveaway.
Yeah, he was, Russ. Yeah, we're like True North Chris says, our guests have been off the hook. We've been we've been having some great guests.
Yeah.
Different.
And
Yeah, they're different. Not everybody's heard of them or seen them, or it's not your typical beard company, or but yeah. Yep.
yeah, a lot of these guys who, well, some of them we did meet at Nationals, but this one wasn't from Nationals, but he was just a great guest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And make sure you stay tuned for the 29th of the month. We have a very special guest coming on too.
Yeah, the guy on the 29th, he puts the goat in goatee.
Oh, yeah. That's an understatement. Well, let's start with this giveaway then. So hashtag educated.
Educated beards. Giveaway oil and a butter.
There we go.
And True North, you got it.
Is that a lucky guess or?
You're gonna have to send that to Scott. Send that song to Scott, and we'll play her.
I think Jason, you should just whistle it.
What song are you guys talking about?
Whistle
Must have missed
song.
that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta
Jason,
see if I
just
can
whistle.
find it.
Yeah.
I might have a whistle sound. I know I got a whooping sound. I don't see a whistle. I do have all kinds of stuff though.
Yeah, Ellie, it's great to see you in here. Haven't seen you in a
Yeah. It's been a while.
Thanks for stopping in.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Russ Young. True North Company, you are launching sooner than winter 2023, right?
I think he said he'll launch when he's ready.
Yeah, if he would have been ready, he'd have donated to the auction too.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't quite ready. So yeah, he said February or March. Hoping for February.
So,
Well, we've
do
been
we have
stuck at
anybody
30.
else who wants to get in on this giveaway? Otherwise,
Yeah,
we're just gonna
yeah,
spin it.
looks like we've been stuck at 13 for a while.
Okay, if there's nobody else, I'll just go ahead and spin that.
Emo. Emo, I lose the second time.
Congratulations, Emo.
Diablo won once and gave it to Emo.
Okay. That's what it was.
Well, there's a couple people who've.
Yeah, I shift
before.
focus. He won last week and he won before.
Yep.
So,
Just trying to make sure everybody gets a chance at it.
yep.
Some pretty interesting stuff.
And if I remember right, I think Chris from True North, he bid on one of the maintenance kits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, those look pretty nice.
Oh yeah, Mark Brown, you got it. Yeah, from the auction. Gary bid on. I think that was a maintenance kit too, or was that the Book of Beards?
I can't remember
I
which.
can't remember. I think it was the Book of Beards.
Yeah.
I think he won a couple of educated things.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if I. Yeah, this one's not wrote on.
I was the one that ordered it, and I can't remember who it was. So.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Let's see.
It has sissies.
Yeah, Mark Brown's getting the book from Gary. And Scott, big bearded and bored, is getting a maintenance kit.
Oh yeah, I
Yes,
didn't
yeah.
see him in here tonight.
Yeah, he was in for a little bit.
Yeah, I meant to wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. He commented he got a Aberlite
Yeah,
for his birthday.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if we have anything else, guys.
No, other than well, we got next week's show, and then on the 22nd. Oh, Russ, that wasn't a great memory. That was I had to look at my papers. I still had my papers. But anyway, the 22nd it's just going to be a community show, right?
Yeah, community, kind of a Christmas show.
Yeah. So we
Might have a couple people who stop in for a bit, but
yeah. Yeah, Mark, it does have scissors, and it has.
oh yeah, yeah, it's got a nice brush and comb.
Yeah.
It's a nice case to begin with.
Yeah. Here's my book right there. Looks like a book.
Yeah, I've got it back there on the shelf.
That's my favorite book.
But all
Yeah, it's
the
got,
stuff is out of it.
Yeah, mine. I still got my shampoo, my beard wash in here because I still have my peppermint cedar wood in the shower. But it comes with like a little travel oil, a full size oil. The balm, right? It comes with the balm, not the butter. The scissors, brush, and comb. And then it does,
Mustache wax.
yeah, and the wax. And then it's got the pump. It's got the pumper for the shampoo.
That's nice to have. I almost dropped the bottle a couple times before I started using that.
Yeah, that pump saves you from dropping the bottle. Flip your bottle.
Especially when you got it, you're supposed to shake it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, anyone out there in the community who hasn't tried Angry Redhead, I would strongly advise getting on that if you enjoy emu oil.
Yes, Mark, it's a daily wash. It's a dental daily wash.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
Yep.
I mean, even the peppermint's pretty. Not too overly strong.
It's just right.
Yeah.
To me, it is.
Yeah. It
Jason
lathers
says
up
it
nice.
tingles.
Yeah. Yeah. And it lathers up nice. Yeah. It's a nice wash.
Yeah, you can use it for a full body wash. And some women use it to shave their legs. It's really good for the skin.
Yeah, they're a great bunch of people, and actually they sent me a free oil today after I just ordered a bunch of stuff.
That's a good idea, Russ.
Yes, I know he's been on the list at one point.
Yeah, and then we can broadcast in 7 different languages internationally. Right?
Yeah.
I'm only going to understand one though. So.
Well, that's what Mr. Beast did.
Ellie's volunteering too.
Yeah, and we're working on having a Mark on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna, according to Becky, they're gonna take over the show. So that'll be fine with me. Maybe I'll just
We get a
be
day
on
off.
the others. Huh?
We get a day off. Is that what that means?
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if she'll go that far.
But yeah, they say they're going to take over the show. So yeah, maybe we'll be on the other side in the chat room.
Well, we could probably even do it next week if Mark's up to it. I was going to ask, but we're talking about it. Yeah, we haven't had like a community type show since I think Chris has been on.
Yeah. Good night, Tim.
Good night.
Thanks for stopping in, Guns and Beards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. But I guess we can probably wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay to have a short show.
Yeah, we've had some pretty long ones lately.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about time for the commission anyway. So yeah.
Yep. So everybody. Okay, just let us know, Mark.
Mark, there's only one day to do it.
It's got to be a Thursday.
So in one day, one time.
Well, maybe
So
he's
that
busy
part's
next
figured out.
Thursday.
That part's figured out.
Or we could make it part of the Christmas special too. Well, thanks, Russ. You have
Yeah,
a great
thanks,
week
Russ.
too.
Thanks, Travis. You have a good night too.
So with that,
Yeah.
we're going to say good night, everybody. We will see you next Thursday, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah.